On Thursday the 9th of December 2021, the annual Game of the Year Awards hosted by Jeff Keighley will take place in LA. As a Zeldatuber, this grabs my interest due to Nintendo's presence at this event over the years, and of course, their attendance at this upcoming show. Outside of receiving awards for their achievements within their video games, these shows also serve as a place for not just Nintendo of course, but all video game developers to show off new trailers and information for their upcoming games, and Nintendo themselves have done this many times. For example, they announced Breath of the Wild's second DLC pack, The Champion's Ballad, at the awards a few years back. I remember that night well, as the content was released on the same night, and my god, it was so cool how Nintendo showed off the trailer to follow it releasing the same night. This all on the same night that they won the actual Game of the Year award itself with Breath of the Wild. So where am I going with this? This year, I, along with many other Zelda fans and creators alike, are anticipating some news on the sequel to the legendary game that won the award a few years back, having some new information at this year's event. But the big question is, if we do get something, what will it be? Prediction videos are always incredibly fun to do, especially when you predict something correctly. And in today's video, I am not only going to give my personal prediction for the awards in the coming weeks, but also go over some maybe unrealistic predictions which could happen, and maybe go over their likelihoods and whatnot. It'll be a fun time. So be sure to go and grab yourself a snack or drink and send them in to get featured right here. Drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, it really helps the channel out, and let's get into this one. So a traditional predictions video would be me picking one solid prediction and saying this is what I think will happen, and I will be doing that towards the end, but to make things a little different and interesting, I would like to go over different possibilities and how likely I think some may be. The big things we'd be looking at possibly seeing at the awards is a title for the game, the release date for the game, and a trailer for the game. Those are the big three. Will we just get one? Could we get two? Could we get all three? That's what we'll be talking about in terms of likelihood and why certain possibilities could make more sense than others. So let's get started. The information that we currently have could help us to predict the outcome. For example, if we are to thinking about getting a release date at these awards, that prediction could be heavily doubted and or questioned due to what happened with the first game. If you weren't aware, or maybe forgot, the first game wasn't given a set release date until merely 3 months beforehand. This was at Nintendo's Nintendo Switch presentation in January of 2017. The game was then released on March 3rd of that same year. Or we could talk about the title, some history prior to this. Breath of the Wild itself was a known game in the works from around 2014, but it was also nameless for a little while and was only revealed to be Breath of the Wild in 2016. My point is, the release date wasn't given until a few months before release, and to double up with that earlier point, the Zelda team themselves have outright openly said that they are not keen on revealing this game's title until soon before release, as it could give away some major story points. This game especially for some reason. Apparently. That's what Bill Trinen said anyway, so not the Zelda team directly, but somebody who works for Nintendo at a fairly high position. This has left fans to continue speculating what the title could be about. Link's new arm? The sky? The underground? Ganondorf? The possible time frame of the game? We simply don't know. Now, unless the game is going to release in early 2022, then personally I don't see us getting a title. I'll never say never when it comes to Zelda predictions, and I do admit that if the game is due to release in later 2022, maybe we'll see the title a bit earlier than the first game, but it's a tough one to call to be honest, and has a lot of variables. But that's a piece on what we know regarding that already. As for other factors, recently, Nintendo themselves seem confident of a 2022 release, and whilst not official as of yet, they did include it in a what's to come post on their social media, having the sequel to Breath of the Wild listed under the 2022 section. It isn't 100% official yet, but it is becoming increasingly more likely to be released next year. With that information said, what do I want to happen, and what do I also think will happen? Firstly, what I want to happen. Within reason, obviously, otherwise I'd ask for the game to be released the next day. I would personally love to see 3 main things. First and foremost, a trailer, but this time focused on Ganondorf and his origins for this game. A little tease of how this game came to be, what's to come later in the game, and just a bunch of action-packed snippets to get us hyped up for the storyline of the King of Evil this time around. He typically has a backstory and or involved story, which always adds to the experience, and I really feel like the sequel can benefit from really going into Ganondorf's story, more in depth than ever, and by the looks of things so far, we will be learning a bit more about him. That's why I'd like the trailer to be focused on, but any type of trailer would do, obviously. On top of that, I would also like to see the title of the game revealed, but not just at the end of the trailer or something. Oh no. I want the name to be revealed as part of the trailer. Whatever the subtitle of the game hints at, say it's the arm, I would love for at some point towards the end of the trailer for us to see Link's arm coming into use, and right before we see it in full swing, the trailer cuts and the title is revealed. Then a slow pulse out, just like the first trailer ended with. Maybe this time with a creepy shot of Ganondorf's body or face, showing us the source of the heartbeat and building up the tension with Ganondorf. And to be really greedy, I'd also like to see a small showcase of some gameplay and or a little bit of information about the game, talked on by the developers or whoever is at the event to represent Zelda. Now for what I think could realistically happen. Honestly, I do see a trailer as the most likely outcome if we get anything on the game. I'd like to clarify if because this isn't a guarantee and I don't want to make anybody think that, it's just if. I'd still like it to be based on Ganondorf, but that's very unpredictable. But a trailer itself, I find that highly likely in the event that we get some news. And as for the chances of getting news itself, I myself am around 80% set on the side of we will get news, paired with getting a new trailer, and I also think that we will get closer to a release date. What I think we will see is something along the lines of coming holiday 2022. For example, I don't think the set day will be shown off, but I do think that they'll 100% confirm 2022 is the release year, along with which quarter of the year it will be released. We know that they said they're aiming for 2022, and everything is pointing towards it. I think we'll get that sweet confirmation at these awards. With the year of 2022 really beginning to promote the game more and more with new trailers, showcases, and of course, the eventual release of the game later in the year. That is my prediction, but what is yours? What I want you to do is leave a comment down below with your prediction for the Game of the Year awards. What will we see in terms of Zelda? And maybe give me both a dream situation and realistic prediction as well. I look forward to reading and replying to your comments. Thanks a ton for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to drop a like and consider subscribing for more fabulous Zelda content. If you didn't already know, I have a Discord server, which you're all welcome to join via the link below. We talk about day-to-day life and, of course, Zelda. You can even chat to me directly there when I'm online, or submit me questions in my personal Q&A chat. The link can be found below. As always, a huge special thank you goes out to all of my supporters across Patreon and YouTube, with special mention to a recently new member who I should have shouted out a few weeks back, but kind of forgot to. Sorry about that. Stuart, who joined through YouTube. Thanks a ton. If you'd like to join them and get yourself a shout out upon joining and your name at the end of every video, then consider supporting. Again, thanks for watching, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.